Okay. Hopefully, this is going to work. Fingers crossed. Okay, let's do this. All right. Okay. I'm seeing people in the chat. I think this is a good thing. Let's just double check that we are looking okay. Hi everybody. Good to see you guys. Can you all hear me? Can you guys all hear me? Let's just get that right out of the way first. For anybody watching the VOD of this, feel free to skip ahead a little bit while I just double check to make sure you guys can all hear me, and we're good to go. Okay, awesome, sweet. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the very delayed Gielinor Games 3 Q&A post GG live stream, where I'm going to go over questions and answers for you guys, and behind the scenes I got some things prepared for all of you, where we're going to talk about the most reviewed questions. Maybe there's a chance I get some of the people who were on the season to be in the call with me in a little bit. I've asked some people, but yeah, we're gonna figure out how this goes kind of as the stream progresses. I am very inexperienced with YouTube live streaming, so I'll do my best to figure it out as we go. But the main thing I'm doing today, very simple, is just talking to you guys, answering any questions you may have had, and yeah, we'll get to it from there. Seeing lots of people in the chat already. How's it going? Commander, congratulations, you were the first one here today. Great. You fell off. Oh god, that's not the first thing I want to answer in this live stream. Feels bad. Okay, so let's see what we got going on today. Are we going to know any information for GG Season 4? Yeah, I'm going to go over a couple things with you guys about the fourth season of GG, which is slowly coming to fruition, plan-wise. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Already choking on water right away. Okay. Hey, Ali. How's it going? What's up, Roberts? Asian guy stream. What's up, my man? Good to see you. What a pleasant surprise your tweet was and your stream was a couple months ago. That was like I was smiling. I was cheesing, man, when I saw it. Huge shout out to you, my man. I'm excited. I've checked your channel. I'm not sure if the video is out yet, but I'm excited to see the video when it does come out. But good to see you, man. Thank you. I have a feeling a lot of people today are just going to want to talk about the fourth season, simply because, well, that's probably what a lot of you guys are here for. Is, you know, when's the fourth season? When's all that coming out? Well, we'll figure it out, obviously, as the stream goes on. I'll try to explain a bit more. But I have a couple of things planned for you guys. The first thing I want to do, honestly, is once a couple more people have gathered into the stream, I'm going to go over just a couple of the most requested things, which are a look at my Adobe Premiere timeline, a look at the Confessionals sheets, which I can have it linked up and I can show it on stream for all of you. I have, what else do I have? Those are the two main things, and of course I have a couple of questions that have been asked as well. So yeah. How much did you look at last season's prize pool in your bank and just smile? Yeah, actually, I'll give you right off the bat a little sneak peek for you guys, or sneak peek behind the scenes. So 1 week before the finale aired, the prize pool was at, I believe, I think it was 18 bill. The prize pool was 18 bill. Then somebody donated 12 billion. Oh, no, it was 11 or 12 billion GP a week before the finale aired. So the prize pool went from like 18 to 30 bill in the space of, well, a week. So I had to re-edit a bunch of things in the finale because I didn't think the prize pool would go any higher than 18. And then this guy comes in with like an 11 to 12 billion GP donation. And we, well, yeah, the prize pool went to 30 bill, which was like the perfect number, right? I mean, 30 bill is like, I don't know, it's just a nice clean number. It's almost 3 times the size of last season's prize pool. The thing is, for season 4, I feel like the prize pool just can't be lower, right? I don't want it to be lower than that. So it's Yeah, we'll see what happens with season 4. We're gonna have to come up with some incentives maybe to try to push how much it goes up. How did it feel hitting the upload button on the final season episode? It felt really good. It felt absolutely amazing, especially because, well, obviously I had been editing the show for, almost 6 months. So, and lots of overnight sessions. I mean, editing every single day, legit every single day, for 5 6 months, and uploading the final episode is just like the best feeling ever. So, yeah, it felt really really good. Um, Next time around, I'm definitely going to get some more help with the editing for sure. But it just felt good to get it out of the way. How do you choose the Gielinor Games players? So it's just a mixture of my personal, I don't know, opinion on who I think would be good on the show, who I think is going to bring a mixture of good gameplay, good confessionals, work well with the other cast, right? Um, you know, a question I get all the time is like, why don't you just have the best players on the game, be part of the show? I mean, the best players on the game would probably do well in the challenges, right? But let's be honest, Gielinor Games isn't, it's a reality show, right? I'm looking more for entertainment as opposed to like only good players, right? I think you guys would all rather have people who are really funny and can mix well and create funny moments with the rest of the cast, right? So yeah. Also, another big thing is you need, a mixture of big names. You need some new people, maybe some people you've never heard of before. And you also, you know, will have the people who don't have the biggest following, but they have experience on the show already, and you know that they, bring something to the show. So, casting is one of the hardest parts because there's always people that are left out, and there's always people that, um, you take a chance on and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I can't have every single person on who wants to be on. And that's what makes it so hard because I just want to have everybody on. But usually we try to limit it to, 20 people. And with how big the community has grown over the past, especially 3 4 years, there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of full-time creators now. So trying to get everybody on is impossible, but obviously that's the hardest part. Is not the hard. Well, yeah, I'd say maybe casting is one of the hardest parts. Do you license the music in the videos, or are they just not fully monetized on your channel? So the first episode, Asian Guy Streams, I never monetized the first episode. I always use unlicensed copyrighted music simply because I want to make the first episode a banger. So like in the first episode, I used All American Rejects. I used like I remember who else I used. I used like an Elvis Presley song. I can't get licenses for that. It's way too expensive. But it's more just me being like, you know what? Let's just make the first episode a banger. Let's try to make it as realistic as possible to an actual like competition-based reality show that you would see on cable or you'd see on network TV. So I don't take, but the rest of the episodes are all licensed music. So I am able to monetize the episodes. And I got my music this season from a company called apmmusic.com. It was quite a pricey license. I think I'll just be straight up. It was almost $300 a month for the music. But to me, it was worth it simply because they offered tens of thousands of songs for me to choose from. A lot of the songs are used actually in movie productions, TV productions that you see in theaters. Like they are a very established, well-known company, which I was able to honestly get a good deal for. It was a blanket license, so I was able to use as many songs as I wanted every single month, and they would fortunately not copyright strike the videos, so that was really good. How do collabs work in RuneScape videos in general and Gielinor games? Everyone gets paid per video, per sponsor, or is it different each case? It's different in each case. A lot of the collabs you see in the RuneScape scene, there's no payment going on, right? A lot of the time it's just for fun. A lot of the time it's just one creator supporting another. For Gielinor games this season, thankfully I was able to pay people depending on the amount of episodes they were on. Obviously, I wish I could have paid them way more, but luckily this time around I was able to pay people to be on for their time. I wish it was more, but yeah. Most of the collabs you see, there's no like payment or anything going on. Maybe some GG or some GP prize pools, right? Some Gielinor games pieces, some gold pieces, some Gielinor pieces, but yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get to your questions. Please save them. Hey, good grief, good to see you. Please save them for after this section right here, but I'm going to get this out of the way really quickly, or not really quickly, but I'm going to show two important things that were asked about quite a bit. So the first one is my Premiere timeline. I'm going to hide the chat here really quick. So I'm going to give you guys just a look at my Premiere timeline. Adobe Premiere is the system that or the editing program I used. Here is a full timeline of a Gielinor Games episode. So this was the money-making episode, 1 hour and 7 minutes long. And people just ask me all the time, like, oh, can we see your timeline? Can we, what do you edit with? Adobe Premiere, this is an entire timeline. It's honestly a lot, so it can get a little bit laggy, but there is everything. It might not look as complicated as some people may think, but a lot of the time you have to realize every single part of the episode is usually just RuneScape footage, or we have a confessional, right? A lot of the time that's all it is. And it's just usually very long, right? In fact, I'd say the most complicated thing is the music. That's usually the thing that I spend the longest on because, well, it takes a lot of time. Of course, we have like the classic B-roll shots in there and everything, but yeah. So in this case, the money-making episode was a long one, 1 hour and 7 minutes. This one took, 1 hour, 1 hour, almost 8 minutes. Took a long time. And yeah, so that was the timeline. I also wanted to mention that usually I split this up into 5 sections. So the first part I usually would edit is the intro, the very beginning part. You guys all know the intro. So the intro would start from the very beginning of the episode, and it would end all the way until I introduce until we head, of course, into the challenge. So that's the intro. Second part is the challenge, which would usually take the longest, of course. So in this case, the challenge was 24 minutes. So yeah, each challenge would usually take between 18 to 28 to 30 minutes or so, and would definitely be some of the hardest parts of editing. The third part is the island, right? So the island is usually the discussion before everybody heads into voting. So after the challenge, the discussion of heading into voting, we have the voting section right here. We have the post-voting where everybody goes over, who's going in, who they voted for, and all that. And then we have the introduction of the banning, the winners discussion, all of that is in the third section. The fourth section is the banning, which is a lot of people's favorite parts, the elimination game. And that's just simply, of course, the pre-banning talk and the banning itself. And that usually would be between like 7 to 14 minutes or so. And the fifth and final section is the outro, which would not take too long to edit, but you want to, the tough thing about an outro is you usually want to build up hype for the next episode. So you want a mixture of your goodbyes, you're hyping up for the next episode, what's going on behind the scenes and all that. And that finishes off an episode. There's the credits and everything. And yeah, so that's usually the timeline. Here we have a list of, so for you guys who are wondering, usually what I would do is I would drag somebody's confessional into the timeline, and there would just be a whole conversation I'd have with them about what happened during the episode. And I would just place them all in this timeline right here in this sequence and go over them and edit them as the episode went on. Here's another tab. I have the green screen. I have everybody's confessionals that I would just put in a tab like this and just simply drag them to the timeline if I needed them. Each thing was it's always really funny. I always wondered what you guys thought about the confessionals, because all it is somebody just, going back and forth, like a RuneScape character just standing and looking at you, right? But luckily, nobody's ever really seemed to think it was weird or anything, which is always really funny. Okay, so finally, I have one more thing to show you guys before I answer some more of your questions, and that is this section right here. Okay, so every single episode, every time we filmed, after we filmed an episode, I would hop into a Discord call with every single person who was on that episode. I would ask them questions about what happened. I would try to get them to tell their perspectives in a certain unique way. and then I would write down, or my very good friend and helpful editor, Allie, I'd send her the audio after editing it a little bit on my end, and she would write down every single thing that they said. So here you can see, here's episode 1's confessional list. We have 27 pages of confessionals. 27 pages. It's a lot to go through, right? So every single time a certain part of the episode happens and I'm looking for lines from somebody, I have this sheet to look at. So here's episode 1. We have 27 pages of everybody's answers to my questions. So for example, let's just look at skill specs. His skill specs, he has his intro I asked him about. At the beginning of the season, I asked him, about alliances. Here's his answer. I asked him if he's targeting anybody. He says that solo mission is a snake. He needs to pay, smash his table. So that way I'm able to look at what everybody said in a single Google Docs. It takes an unbelievable amount of time going through all of these confessionals, simply because I ask a lot of questions, right? I'd rather have a lot of answers that I don't use as opposed to too few answers, and then I need to go around asking for things afterwards, right? So that's why you guys see so many. Some people take a lot longer in their confessionals than others, not necessarily a bad thing. They just take a little bit longer to edit. But yeah, at the very beginning of the seasons, the confessionals take a long time to go through because we have 20 confessionals for episode 1, of course, and each person has between, 6 to 14, 15 answers. So there's, hundreds of questions here that I have to pick and choose from to figure out if it's worth putting into a confessional in the actual episode. Most of these answers you guys see don't actually appear in the episode because, well, I can't use every single one, right? So that's just how it works. So yeah, there's a lot of unused, unanswered confessionals that aren't shown here, but that I technically would need all of these in some case because one person's answer might be better than the other, one person's might not be. So yeah, we did this for every single episode, all 12 or all 11. 12th was the blooper, and this was a big thanks to Allie with this one. It took a long time to go through, but that's how I pick and choose when I'm editing. Like for example, I don't know. Let's say during the like the banning, if I need lines from people about the banning, right? I can just like Control F on the Google Docs. I'll put in banning, and boom, I have 31 answers with the word banning in it. So I can then look at these answers with the bannings and pick and choose which one I need the most. I don't know if it's efficient to do it this way, right? Is it better to ask every single person on the show about a specific moment and just pick 1 or 2 answers out of the best? Is that a waste of time? Is that a good thing? I technically have 20 answers, a huge variety to pick and choose from. But then again, I'm also asking a lot of questions that I never end up using, right? So should I just end up asking only a couple people about it? I'm not totally sure. That's something I have to maybe be more efficient at. But for the first 3 seasons, it's been really nice just to have this huge selection, right? So yeah, that's usually how we would pick and choose from the confessionals. Okay, so let's let's see if we have any answers or questions from the chat. If you guys have asked anything and you would like me to answer it, please feel free to ask now. Hello, Natural Causes. When was the series recorded, aka how long does it take to edit an entire season? So last season, we filmed episodes 1 through 11. The first episode filmed at the beginning of March, and the final episode was filmed, the final challenge was filmed in the first week of August. So what is that, 5 to 6 months of filming? There's about an average of 2 weeks between filming sessions simply because people are very busy. It's very hard to schedule a lot of people to be on at the same time, especially people who are in different time zones. So yeah, that was one of the hardest parts. Interesting, season 2, when the big sickness, or when the big sickness was going around the world. I don't even know if I can say that word anymore without getting demonetized. But everybody was at home because of it, so we were able to film like once a week. We got the whole season filmed in like 2-3 months. It was so nice. In the third season, it was a bit longer of a filming time, just because, well, everything had opened back up. People were were going about their business again in their everyday lives. So yeah, that it was a lot harder to schedule people to be on at the same time. Okay. Another question I had. Oh, and then the editing, the second part of that question, the editing was I edited the entire season between August and February, so that was also a 5 to 6 month process. So the entire process of making a Gielinor game season takes about a year. Takes about 1 year. Honestly, I wish I could make it my entire full-time thing, but I don't want to have an entire year gap between video uploads on my channel. So I also, on top of the Gielinor games producing, come out with secondary videos as well that you guys see on the channel, like the Mythbusters, unusual money making, Easter egg videos, stuff like that, which I'm able to fit in and edit those while I like work on GG and stuff. So yeah. Guys, if I missed your question, please feel free to just continue asking it until I answer it. I'm not trying to ignore them, I promise. One question I do want to get to, Gratifizzle actually donated $20, and he asked a question. He said, Soup, I'd like to know who came up with the edit of that episode, the cut from Solo to Evie to Bodhi and Foe. Were you inspired seeing them run up to you, or did it come to you in the footage? He also says Foe is daddy. So you guys all know the scene I think he's talking about, episode 9, Bodhi and Foe versus Skillspecs, Evie-scape and Solo mission, and the banning when the camera pans up from Solo and Evie all the way up to Bodhi and Foe running on the Mountain Daughter cliff. Fun story about that scene right there. I actually, as soon as I heard what happened, because they were streaming their footage in Discord, so we all were seeing what was happening. As soon as I saw what had happened, I was like, oh my God, that's going to be the best edit ever to come out with in an episode. So I just immediately thought to myself, I'm going to have a shot of Solo and Evie running on the bottom part of the mountain, and then I'm going to pan the camera up, and there's going to be Bodhi and Foe running on top of it. And I was like, oh my God, like it's going to seem so sick. And luckily I found like the perfect song to use with the really hype, like the song quiets down a little bit and then Foe appears and boom, the music goes wild. I was like, man, I tell you what, that's what makes like editing worth it, is just seeing moments like coming when a moment like that comes together and you see the reactions from everybody who's watching it and the comments, like, oh man, I was like so unbelievably happy that my vision for that scene like came out exactly how I hoped it would. It really just came. I just thought of that edit as soon as it happened. Right, I thought of the edit as soon as it happened, and the fact that I had to wait like 6 months for me to finally like show everybody what happened was brutal, right? But it really like I don't know, like it came out how I wanted it to, and I obviously I think that may have been the best, or I don't know if it's like my personal favorite. It's one of my personal favorites, but from what people have said, it's like their I guess the craziest Gielinor Games moment that there's ever been, right? So it was cool to see the reactions to that. Really reminiscent of Survivor, so you do great with that. Would love to chat more about the YouTube side of things if you're interested. For sure, my man. Absolutely. I love talking about Gielinor Games any time of the day, any day of the year, I don't even know what I'm saying. I love talking about that kind of stuff, so absolutely would love to. The moment was incredible. Amazing moment part was so hype. Yeah, it was a really, really good moments that, I don't know. It was like, I feel like that was probably a lot of people's like peak of the season. Like that moment was like, oh my God, it's the moment. After that, of course, people's peak may have been, the finale, of course, too. But everybody probably had their own unique, funny moments. Like the amount of amazing moments this season was hilarious. Like, do you guys all remember Skillspecs' edit in episode 5 during the Wildy Boss challenge when he decides to get off the Callisto, attacks the guy who's attacking Callisto, and then a random PKer with like an Evandis flail comes out and attacks Skillspecs, and the music, like that was one of the most funny versions of all time. Or the most funny moments. One of the funniest moments of all time. Sorry, I can't talk, obviously. And, the Skillspecs and Torvesta banning with the Darox, like, that was insanely hype, right? Oh my God, that was such a good banning. So exciting. If you guys want to stand and chill next to me, I'm on World 374 Grand Exchange. How are some of the shots made? Is there, like, an overhead camera docu creation mode or something. So if you guys aren't aware, there's an item in the game called the Orb of Oculus. Anybody can buy it. You can buy it from Django in Draenor Village, and if you click on it, it brings up this entire free camera mode. You control it with WASD. You can slow it down with Shift. I'm lagging, and it lets me get these really close-up shots and these like, oh man, apparently this is lagging. But yeah, that's the camera that I use for, or that's what I use for all those shots. A lot of the B-roll shots, in fact, most of the B-roll shots that you see are filmed post episode, right? So I have an entire B-roll Discord where every time I need a shot recreated with a close up with like a cinematic version of it, I'll at people in that Discord, they'll dress up as the competitors and we'll recreate the scene in game. And I'm able to get those angles. Like sometimes we do it like we recreate a scene sometimes up to 10 times just so I have different angles of it and you know, just so I have the best possible version of the scene that I'm looking for, which I can then put into the episode in the editing and post and make it look the best. Because unfortunately, it's impossible for me to get all those cinematic shots while the challenges are going because, well, I mean, the map is huge. There's only so many people who are able to help with the filming and all of that, and it would just be too confusing otherwise. So yeah, most, if not all, of the scenes where there's no client, right? It's just it's just footage on the screen is filmed with the Orb of Oculus post production in the B-roll Discord, where I direct people to recreate scenes that happened, like the not to I guess ruin the scene, but you know the Mountain Daughter edit, right? The pan up between Evibody Solo and Foe, that was done after the episode, after the challenge had actually been filmed, right? That was done afterwards. It just, we were able to mix and match the shot to make it seem like that's what was going on. You know, like it's like the most important part with cutting from a cinematic shot back to the client footage, just trying to make it as seamless as possible to make it seem like you did actually film it when it was happening. And we managed to do that most of the time. So yeah. The Mountain Daughter scene was recreated, yeah. Oh shoot, I just realized that I'm pretty sure I got a donation earlier. Okay, Matt donated $5. He said, the amount of work you put into Gielinor games is insane. Crazy how I got emotionally invested in a RuneScape series. Amazing work. Here's to more. Thank you, Matt, for the kind words. My goal with Gielinor games every single season is to try to get you guys to connect with the contestants on the show, with the competitors. The most important thing is trying to invest people emotionally into the show because they become attached to the characters, they become attached to what happens, right? That's what keeps people coming back every single week watching the show. So the fact that I see you guys saying that you were emotionally invested and really sad when people got eliminated and it made you guys all, you know, I don't know, sad or happy when certain things happen, that was like the most, that like makes me happy because that was, you know, that's really the whole goal with something like this. And of course to create an awesome show, right? But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys for the kind words. Caroline, did you expect the prize pool to be that huge? No. Last season's was 11 bill. The first season's prize pool was, I don't even know. What was the first season's prize pool? A bill? I think it was a bill. So the fact that we went from 1 bill to 11 bill to 30 bill is unbelievably insane. Absolutely insane. So for the 4th season, I need you guys all to save up your banks, okay? I need you guys all to save up your banks for the 4th season because 30 bill is going to be tough to beat. 30 bill is going to be tough to beat. The effort is what gives your content so much personality. Thank you, Moho. Thank you. Okay, let me try to answer some questions. Did you ever consider inviting Ivo Nabi, the guy who held all the speedrunning records? I know about him. But here's the thing, guys, I'll go over another casting question I get all the time. Like, hey, guys, or hey, Soup, like, can you have an entire seasons of random people who don't create content? Hey, can you have somebody on who's maybe good at the game but doesn't create content? Here's the really tricky thing about that. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I would love to have more, random players on, players who don't necessarily play the game full time and they can bring their unique perspective. But trying to schedule a non-content creator who doesn't play the game full time to be on the show consistently and make filming times is really difficult because they most likely have their own schedule with work, with real life. That's one section. The second that's one part. The second part is you need known names on the show, right? You need people. Ideally, it's amazing to have people who already bring who bring their fan bases to watch the episodes. I would love to do a series one day, where it's only people who don't create content. It's complete no names, right? But as somebody who's doing this full time, it's not necessarily going to get views, right? And at the end of the day, for somebody, if I want this to continue, I need the episodes to get views, right? So having people who are established community members, content creators on the show is really, really crucial, really vital. I'm sure all of you guys came into the season knowing at least one or two people that you knew who you were going to root for, right? And that's the biggest thing, is somebody who's on the show, somebody who you're going to root for. Can I do maybe a 1 to 2 episode spinoff one day with people who don't, do full-time content creation? 100%. But for me to have I get this question all the time, like, hey, Soup, can you have a season where it's 10 creators and they get assigned 10 random players to compete with during the season? I don't think that's ever going to happen, simply because scheduling wise, that'd be a nightmare trying to get that many people on at the same time who aren't full-time creators. And the second thing is like, I don't know, it's really risky having somebody on who doesn't know the other people who are part of the season, who'd be they would be scared, they'd be nervous to talk. And at the end of the day, I don't want somebody who's unfortunately going to be too nervous and too quiet to talk, because people who are watching the show are most likely going to want people who aren't afraid to talk, who aren't afraid to say their mind, who aren't afraid to make big boy moves, right? Big boy moves, controversial moves, create a little drama here and there. So luckily, as the seasons have gone on, people who are on the show understand what the viewers want, what I'm kind of looking for with a competitive reality show. So I'm not saying all of the drama was completely fabricated, but everybody's playing a character, guys, right? Everybody's doing their own version of themselves that they would, maybe would want to see in a competition reality show, right? At the end of the day, I don't think anybody hates anybody on the show, but it's way more exciting when you do see a little bit of beef. When you do see episode 2, when Ditterbitter completely yells at Solo Mission, right? I actually do think Ditter was really mad in that, but that spices it up, right? Yeah, Snakefish and Solo Mission. Solo Mission had... Solo Mission's he's just an incredible part of Gielinor games. He's kind of understood since actually season 1 what kind of I've been looking for. And I think he's drawn a lot of people on his side because of it. His behind the scenes videos that he was making, they were getting like 50, 60,000 views. So he had a lot of people watching him, seeing how he would do, and had a lot of people on his side. So it was always fun to see. Okay, I'm just trying not to miss any. Let's see. Jamie, thank you for the $2. Hey, how do you keep a secret? Do you require an NDA? Fun fact: I have never made anybody on the show sign an NDA. It is simply just we all respect one another. We all, I trust every single person who's on the show. I've never required anybody to sign an NDA. It's just a contract that I don't want to have to deal with. Every single time we film, it's just, hey guys, try not to tell your viewers, try not to spoil anything. And people are like, yeah, okay, no biggie. We're all really good friends. An NDA isn't truly required. So yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal in terms of like needing an NDA, right? Who made you laugh the most filtering through the clips? Who made you guys laugh the most in the season? I'll bring that back to you guys. Who made you guys laugh the most? Because for me, it was Skillspecs. Skillspecs, definitely the funniest guy on the show. That dude is just, I don't know. He's just comedy gold, man. He's just the funniest dude. I'm seeing a lot of Skillspecs answers as well, but he is just the funniest guy. Every single time we filmed, I'm pretty sure every single episode he had a funny moment. And it was just, I don't know, it was amazing. The Torvesta Skillspecs banter in episode 6 was so funny. Like when Torvesta starts spearing Skillspecs, one of the funniest things ever. And then that whole dynamic of, oh, that was such a phenomenal, like, oh my God, guys, I love talking about this because that whole, like, Skillspex's whole dilemma in episode 6, the votes are tied, right? It's 3-3 in the voting between 8sat and Torvesta. Skillspecs could have voted 8sat and saved himself from going into the banning, but he was so mad. He was so furious at Torvesta for what he did. He knew that if he voted Torvesta, he would get voted into the banning. He knew that if Torvesta gets sent in, Skillspecs would get put in against him. But he just doesn't care. He says, Soup, I know I'm going in if I vote Torvesta, but I don't care. I hate the guy so much. Screw it. Let's do this, right? I thought that is just a perfect reality television moment, right? It was perfect. It was an actual dilemma that he had to deal with, and it worked out phenomenally, right? Absolutely worked out phenomenally. It was really, really awesome. So yeah, that was I don't know. I just love moments like that. I absolutely just love it. I'm seeing a lot of you guys ask or say like, "Hey, bring one random onto the show." We did have one random creator this year, and that was 8sat. He's never made videos. He's never streamed before. He was a part of the community, which I did need, but he was this season's dark horse in terms of he doesn't create content. He was a random player, right? So that it has happened, right? We did have somebody on the show who played that role. So yeah, like I said though, guys, the tough thing about the casting is there are so many people who are deserving, I think, to be on the show. Would it be unfair of me to be like, let's just have 6 completely random people on who, when those spots maybe could go to up and coming or, like up and coming content creators who are trying to make a name, who are trying to, provide content for everybody. Is that fair? Just to, not give them a chance? I don't know. Again, that's what makes casting so difficult. Really, really hard. Really hard. Oh my God, Icarus Moth, a $50 donation. Holy moly. Thank you, my man. Hey, Soup, I've been a fan for a long time. I wanted to ask you where you find the music for your series. It's very well done. Biased question though, I am friends with Mothica and never expected to hear a track from her in the series. That's so cool. Well, thank you again for the very generous donation. All my music this season was from a company called apmmusic.com. You can look at them up right now. apmmusic.com. What is this? Hi, Ronan. They provided tens of thousands of songs for me to choose from. That I thankfully was able to find lots of different, amazing music that I was able to put into the episodes. They have a huge mixture of, I don't know, dramatic, happy, funny. I don't know. The music that they provide is used in like major productions and TV and film. And luckily, I was able to find a really good deal with them for a monthly blanket license. Which let me use as much of their music as I wanted in my episodes when they were coming out. I had to sign. It was like I think it was a 6-month contract, and yeah, so that's where all the music came from. It's really cool. You're friends with Mothica. I love a lot of Mothica's songs, and when I heard the Buzzkill song for the first time from her, I was like, oh my God, this would be a fantastic outro song for episode 1. And a lot of people were like, holy moly, that song is crazy good. And I'm happy that you liked it. And who knows, maybe Mothica is a RuneScape / Gielinor Games fan. Probably not, but it's pretty cool. Shout out to her and that amazing song. Okay, so oh my God, so many Oda questions. Guys, I'll answer this Oda Block question now. Oda Block was invited to season 3. Okay, I see people all the time being like, "Oh, you hate Oda Block. Why don't you have Oda Block on season? Why didn't you have him on season 3?" Guys, I promise you, Oda Block was invited to season 3. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do it because of timing and scheduling. So he wasn't able to make it. But I promise you guys, I did see if he wanted to be on. So yeah, that is That is the answer to that. Um, okay. Again, please feel free to ask any questions that aren't answered again and again until I answer them. Why are there no raids or endgame PVMing? Okay, so here's another thing about late game PVMing and endgame raiding content. I'm just going to be brutally honest here. There's not that much demand for it. The late game PVMing and raiding, it's not the most requested thing to watch. It's not something that is necessarily getting a lot of views on YouTube. It's not something that the masses are going to want to watch. The second thing is time and gear. Not everybody on the show has access to late game maxed gear, right? So if I tell them, "Hey guys, go get max gear and let's do a 5-man TOB speed run with max gear." Guys, I don't think there's, aside from maybe a couple people on the show, Will included, who's in the chat. What's up, Will? Not everybody is going to be able to have max gear and do a speed run of a raid. It's just not possible. People don't have the money on their accounts to do it. The one way that we could get around that is having access to a private world, and people can use whatever gear and armor they want, right? That would be fun. I just don't have access to that right now. The third thing is B-roll and time. It's incredibly tricky to try to get B-roll for something like a late game raid. Season 1, Episode 1, when we filmed the hard mode Chambers of Zarek, it was one of the hardest B-roll sessions of all time. It was incredibly tough to do, just because of how long it takes to get through the raid. And a lot of the time, it's just not possible to get B-roll and bring out the Orb of Oculus, right? So it's really tricky to try to do that. So there's a lot of reasons for not a lot of late game PVMing content. Do I want to do it? Yes. Trust me, I do. With TOA being a thing now, there's a lot of customizability with TOA. Maybe Jagex can help us with a private world for a future season. You know, wink, wink. I am talking to Jagex about help for the future seasons. A private world would be fantastic. It would help a lot with a lot of things. So yeah, fingers crossed. There's one final reason, guys, why late game, end game PVMing content isn't a part of the show as much as maybe you guys want to be, and that's relatability, right? And how easy is it to watch, right? At the end of the day, I want people who are watching the show to be able to very easily understand what the challenge is, right? I want it to be I want the masses to understand what's going on. That's why you guys see a lot of early game simple challenges. Make money, right? You're on a new account and you have 1 hour to make the best PvP account possible, right? Go get an item and bring it back to me. The last person to bring it back to me gets eliminated. You need people who aren't necessarily RuneScape players to understand what's going on in the show. If I tell somebody to do late game, if I tell somebody to do like end game PVM, a Fasani's Nightmare like speed run, like people who don't play RuneScape, people who are watching the show and don't understand the late game of it, aren't really gonna know what's going on, and there's a chance they stop watching. There's a chance they click off. There's a chance they just don't want to watch it because they don't know what's going on. My goal with Gielinor Games as the seasons progress is to have it be understood by the masses, the general audience who are watching the show. I need them to know what's going on, because that's honestly probably the majority of people who are watching. And yeah, so that's the tricky part of it. You need a mixture of challenges and bannings that can be understood by the masses, and the dedicated player base as well. So again, I would like to do some more PVMing challenges, some late game stuff, but it is what it is, right? I can only perfect it so much. The first episode was Cox, yeah, but that was season 1. Season 1, I didn't have any idea if people would like what was going on. Like, season 1 was a beta test of Gielinor Games, right? When I came out with it, I was like, is this something people are gonna like? Is this something people are gonna hate, right? So I learn a lot throughout the seasons, and as we've progressed from seasons 1 to 3, I've made the challenges simpler. I've made them easier to understand. And guess what? The viewership has gone up. People are enjoying the episodes more. There's more comments, there's more views, there's more likes, right? So the formula has been working in the sense of simplify the challenges, give them a certain time limit and stuff like that. So yeah, I think late game, end game, difficult, maybe really tricky challenges are better suited for maybe a banning if we actually do it during the season, or just one-off episodes, right? So yeah. The corrupted gauntlet banning was really cool. I completely agree. Agree. Yeah, it's a good point. Honestly, I would actually say that the majority of people who watch RuneScape content probably don't play the game anymore. I think a lot of you guys who are watching maybe right now don't play the game anymore, but you guys watch RuneScape content, right? That's a big part of it. Just because you never truly quit RuneScape, but you definitely take breaks. And I think a lot of people who don't play anymore, who take long breaks, still watch content on the game, right? So it's I don't know. People kind of live vicariously through content creators on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick now, I guess I can say too. So stuff like that. Are there any particular sponsors you'd like to take on the whole series for a season? Dude, to be honest with you, Asian guy, my personal dream is for Jagex to sponsor like the entire season and give me a budget. Don't think that'll ever happen. What I would also like to happen is maybe what I really would like is they sponsor the first episode, which always gets the most viewers. And I can have a link in the description. Or maybe if anybody who's watching and wants to play again, they can use my link. They can come back. Maybe they get like 5-10% off membership for the month or something if they use my link. I think it would bring so many players to the game, and I'm really pushing for Jagex to start hopefully doing that. Fingers crossed we can make that happen. That's the dream. Hey Tierzu, congrats on the success of GG. I definitely agree with your decision to simplify challenge, keep things accessible to the general audience. Yes, sorry, I just read that so fast. Yeah. There's a lot of things I've been considering for the next season, which is to continuously, again, you want to simplify the challenges, but you still want to allow creativity and I don't know the tricky thing to try to. You still want to allow the challenges to be done in unique ways. I'll just put it like that, I guess, right? You don't want to like limit it and simplify it too much, but you do like I just personally think it's so necessary for me when I introduce the challenge. Like I don't want people confused at what they have to do, and I think that still happens occasionally where people are confused. Maybe I don't explain the rules well enough, which is why again I think it's so important to coming up with the challenges and the bannings is really fun, but it's also just really hard, right? Because well, I need people to understand what's going on, right? So yeah. So another question I saw was, how do I deal with the viewership decrease when people get eliminated? That's just part of the show. That's just part of having a series, guys, on YouTube especially. A lot of the times, like, you just have to understand that people aren't going to come back and watch every single week. If somebody's favorite person gets eliminated, there's a chance people don't come back. Most series on YouTube, the first episode gets the most views out of any single episode, and then it usually decreases from there. Fingers crossed. Hopefully not too fast, but it will decrease. So you have to understand that's going to happen. The best thing, of course, is when you're able to bring people back every single week who are watching, even if their favorite people get eliminated. But I can't, you can't bring back everybody. So yeah, it is what it is. Please try to avoid repeat challenges from previous seasons. I know you'll keep one or two, of course. Yeah, my goal is always to bring back a couple of challenges and bannings from previous seasons that people really like. Like, imagine I never brought back hide and seek again. I think people would not like that because people love hide and seek, right? So I definitely think it's important to bring back previous challenges and either A, keep them the same if people really liked it, or B, add a little bit of a twist to it, right? Add a little bit of a twist. Something people always love is the money making episode. People love money making on RuneScape. There's no ways around it, right? So Gold Rush, Gold Fever, right? Those are always very, very popular. The hide and seek, right? All that stuff. So yeah, that's it's always a big part of it. The goal for the next season in terms of viewership is hopefully to reach Settled numbers, right? That dude is already insane, but Settled has he's broken the I don't even know. He's broken he's unlocked himself from being restricted to the RuneScape viewership scene, and he's broken that. He's now his videos hit the general audience, right? So that's the goal of any YouTuber, is to have your videos shown to a massive general audience who still watch your videos even though they might not even play the game, right? So that's the goal for the next one, and honestly the goal for a lot of people. He brings so much viewership and he brings so many eyes to the game. He's truly a legend. I just actually hung out with him a couple weeks ago, so shout out Settled. Bring Prop Hunt to Season 4? Oh, I've gotten so many requests for Prop Hunt, but my question is, how would you guys suggest I do Prop Hunt? Because, like, how would that even work? Would I be the person seeking? Would one person on the show get randomly chosen for seeking? Do I bring in a random person for seeking who's not even on the show? Prop Hunt would be a really fun episode, 100%. I really do want to do it. I just have to find the right way to do it without people getting annoyed at the way I did it, right? So, yeah, that's one thing I have to look at with something like Prop Hunt. It probably will make sense if I was the person seeking. But again, I'd have to look for it. I'm happy you didn't do a redemption episode. I'll talk about that really quickly too. A lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't you do a redemption episode this time? I really liked that in season 2." Well, I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to do a redemption episode every single season, because that means that people who get eliminated, they'll always know they have a second chance, right? I don't want somebody to always feel like they have a second chance to get back into the game. I think it should be a complete wild card, whether or not they have a chance to come back in, right? Redemption episodes are always fun because there is a chance that your favorite person could come back. But again, I always want to make it feel like if you get eliminated from the main show, from the main episode, you're out, right? The redemption episode, in my opinion, should be a very rare occurrence of having a chance to come back in. So yeah. I'm going to turn on my fan really quick, guys. Yeah, Prop Hunt could be a case of, that could be cool. Teams of 10. 10 people are seeking, 10 people are hiding. The faster you find the other team, the better. Something like that, right? That could be kind of cool. And the two teams both have turns seeking. That could be pretty fun. But again, it's just something to think about for the next one. What's up, Luke? You live or die by your ride or die. It's too bad Rano and Perp weren't in Gielinor games. Would be hilarious to see them playing. Those guys are both awesome. Ron was on Gielinor Games episode 0. He got second place. He was really close to making it. But Hanani just beat him out. Would you ever consider the winner of the challenge decides what the banning challenge would be? That's a neat little twist. I'm always a little bit sketched about letting people know what challenges could be, and letting them have the choice of. But that's definitely a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Love you, bro. What's up, David? Right back at you, man. Banning contest. The two people in the banning are seekers and have to find the remaining props. Whoever finds the most wins. That's kind of cool. Yeah, again, I love discussions like this just because it gives me ideas. Like, honestly, you guys are very good. I get so many good suggestions about challenges and banning ideas. And if you guys have any that you'd like to know about, please click the link in the description of the stream or the video, whatever you're watching, and join my Discord. And then go to the choose roles section in the Discord, choose yourself the Gielinor Games role, And if you guys have any suggestions or feedback for a future season or from the past season, please leave it in the Gielinor Games channel in that Discord. A lot of the times, people come up to me with suggestions and they want to know where they can put it. That's probably the best place to put it because I can read through it in the future when I'm looking for ideas and stuff. So yeah. Soup, what about letting the person who gets eliminated somehow decide something or affect something on the next episode? I'll be honest with you guys. I already have an idea of the format for the next season. I think I'm locked in with what it's going to be. I still have to make a couple of changes to it. But one question that I had was, if somebody wins a banning, do you guys think the immunity thing should stay? If somebody wins a banning, do you think they should still be immune? Or do you think that should stay as a one season twist? Do you think that shouldn't be a thing? That's something I've actually kind of wondered about. If that's something you guys would want to see come back for a future season. Another question I get all the time is, last place should immediately get sent into the banning. I do love that idea. I really think if you can't perform, you should be up for elimination and maybe just, have the chance to go into the banning right away. The one thing that is stopping me from doing that is we are online, right? We are doing this online. So power outages, internet outages, lag, people who are in Australia playing on a US or UK world, right? There's always small factors that can make it unfair for somebody participating to get sent in straight away because they get last place. So as much as I'd love to do it, there's a couple things stopping me just because, there's outside factors that could affect their performance. And then what happens then? Like, let's say we're 30 minutes into a challenge, somebody's somebody's power goes out. What do I do then? And they get, let's say they get last place. Is it fair to send them in right away? Not necessarily. So we have to try to find ways around it. Would be interesting if players could vote on the person who should get the immunity. Winner of the week gets 2 votes, can even vote on themselves. If players could vote on the person who should get the immunity. Ooh. Maybe. Because that's the tricky thing, though, is if people can vote for who gets immunity, what if there's, a massive alliance and it's the same person getting immunity every single week? That's always the tricky part of it. Alliances are always going to be a thing. That's another question I get all the time is, hey, you should stop doing alliances. You should tell them no alliances, right? But let's be honest, guys. Alliances are always going to be a thing. Do you think Settled will ever vote for Jimmy? Do you think Jimmy will ever vote for Settled? No. They're always going to be aligned in a sense, right? So what's the second best thing to do? Play up the alliances, right? I personally love alliances. I think they make the show what it is. I think they bring a lot. I think they keep people invested. Season 3, the alliances were actually crazy. There's so much going on. I don't know if that'll happen next time, right? I don't know if that's going to continue to happen. This past season, let's look at it though, guys. This past season, there was ideally two big alliances, a couple of floaters, right? And then we had the pure solo players like Bodhi and Will. Bodhi and Will were pretty much solo the entire time. Will joined an alliance one time, and then 2 people got eliminated from that alliance the next episode, and then he was out of the alliance. But Bodhi and Will both made it to the final. Solo players made it to the final. Are people who are on the next season going to look at what happened in the past season and be like, you know what? I don't want to do an alliance. I don't want to be part of an alliance. I want to go solo this time because of what happened last time. I don't know. That's going to be the exciting part of it. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, you don't necessarily need an alliance to succeed. Do you guys want to know how to win Gielinor games? It's really simple. Just don't get eliminated. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. Whether you're part of an alliance, whether you're solo, just simply don't get eliminated. Win a banning and stay in the game. It's really not that hard, right? It's that easy. It's that easy. Do you have any rules or managing Discord messages between players? It was fun to see those in Solo's videos. No, I don't have any rules when it comes to sharing Discord messages. The only thing I told them this past season was please try not to give people answers during challenges or during bannings. I just told them to let the people who are in the bannings do it themselves, right? Sometimes there was help given, but I can't completely control that. It is what it is. But I think for the most part, people did a good job of not sharing answers. And I forgot what I was trying to say. Yeah, just doing the bannings on their own. A suggestion would be to have some kind of win streak bonus for people who perform exceptionally well in consecutive weeks. Yeah, their performance bonuses are a really cool idea. I'll tell you what though, guys. Oh man, I want to tell you guys the format next season so badly. I just want to tell you guys exactly what I have planned because I'm so excited. Just the fact that I have to wait a long time for it to come out so you guys can see what I have on my mind is actually painful. But let's just say that next season will be more rewarding for performance, but will still allow people to play with alliances, play with voting. I just think it's as much as I loved the free agent season, I think this next one is still, it like improves on the format in a sense, right? So yeah, I'm really excited. Do a RuneScape 3 challenge? Okay. I also get this question all the time. Let's just, I'll answer for the, I'll let the chat speak for this question, okay? Would you guys want to see a RuneScape 3 challenge in an old school RuneScape competitive reality show? I guarantee you what you're about to see in the chat will answer your question, bro. I promise you. I promise you the answer. What the chat will answer your question for you, bro. It is going to be full of nopes. It's gonna be full of nopes. I promise you. Oh, there's actually some yeses in there, man. I'm actually seeing a couple of yeses, but I promise you. I promise you that episode would not be taken well. I don't have hate for RuneScape 3. I think RS3 is a really cool game, and I think it's actually gets a bad rep. I think it's turned into a pretty cool game, and I think it's really cool. Should it be in a Gielinor Games episode? No, absolutely not. The viewership of the episode would be less. It would get more dislikes. There would be more nasty comments. There would be people saying never do this again. I promise you, it just would not work. I just don't think it would work. It would be cool if a RuneScape 3 content creator would do their own version of the Gielinor Games, show. That would be really cool. But for me personally, who has no idea about RuneScape 3, about what's going to go on, and how to play that game, I think it's just a little bit too overwhelming. Yeah, again, no hate for RS3. I think RS3 is a really cool game. I just don't think it would work well in an OSRS setting and show. So yeah, I just don't think it would work. Haley, how's it going? Soup, please look in the mirror today and say, I am the best. Oh my God. And my boyfriend and I bought your GG shirts. We love them. Never stop, please. Hey, shout out to Haley. Thank you for the $20. Thank you to you guys for getting the Gielinor Games merchandise, the shirts. I think we sold like almost 1,000 shirts, guys, from this past season, which is absolutely insane. So shout out to everybody who got some. And helped fund the prize pool and helped fund a lot of the production costs for the season. It was really, really awesome. So thank you, Haley, for the kind donation again. Very, very helpful. Thank you. Do a single spin-off for RS3. So I'll be honest, I personally will never create a RuneScape 3 video. Well, I'll never say never. At the moment, I have no plans to create a RuneScape 3 video. My hope is that people in the RuneScape 3 video creation community can maybe do it. Somebody there maybe take the initiative and do it on their end. I just personally would like to stay old school RuneScape completely for now. I just don't think it's the right play. How do you get such crisp HD looking close-up shots? Camtasia exporting never comes out looking so good. So if you guys, I can show you guys, I guess, here really quickly. If you're on RuneLite, I guess it doesn't show, does it? Does it show? It does. Okay, I can show you guys over here. So if you guys are on RuneLite, if you open the GPU plugin, make sure you have the GPU plugin enabled over here. Oh, my cursor is not showing. How do I show my cursor? Why is it not showing? One second. Capture cursor. Oh, should be showing. Oh, there it is. So go to the GPU plugin. If you would like to use these settings that I'm using, these will give you the really crisp looking in-game shots. Feel free to take a screenshot of it right now if you guys haven't already. The biggest thing is turning on anti-aliasing, MSA times 16, draw distance up to 90. Compute shaders is a really big one as well as bright textures. So feel free to take a picture of that if you guys would like. This is going to be uploaded as a VOD to YouTube so you guys can go back and go over all that if you would like. Please invite Otoblock to GG. Never invite Otoblock to GG. Oh my goodness, that is a topic that is very hot right now. Again, all I'll say to that is Otoblock was invited to season 3, but he could not make the scheduling times and wasn't able to do it. So I promise you guys I did ask him. He just wasn't able to do it. Okay, I promise. How was it getting the music licenses for the videos? It was really simple, actually. I was through a company called APM Music. I signed a contract with them. I was able to get a blanket license to use as many of their songs as I wanted for 6 months, and they would demonetize the video, or let me monetize the videos on YouTube. And it was really that simple. It was a little bit pricey, but my goal for the show was to use music that you would see in a movie, in a television cable network show, and something like Survivor or something like The Challenge on MTV, and yeah, that's I think the music honestly elevates the episodes to another level. I think the amount of comments I got about how much people loved the music was a lot more than usual. So yeah, I'm happy you guys liked it. Soup, how did the donations work? If you record these month in advance, the donations happen in the season. Do you just incorporate active testimonials in the time before release? Correct, yeah. So when we're filming the show, for example, I think in the finale, I just told people, hey guys, listen up. The prize pool is probably going to be 15 bill. Like, I think I told them it would probably be 15 bill. And they were like, whoa, that's so cool. And then I just used that reaction in the episode itself, even though the actual prize pool was 30 bill, right? So a lot of the reactions you see are just me telling them what it could be as opposed to what it actually is. And then during the season, when I'm collecting donations, I know the exact amount at the very end, and I can just easily plug it in. And yeah, that's simple. You answered that questions 4 times now. Yeah, here's the tricky thing is, Jared, is people are going to tune into the stream who weren't here for those previous answers, right? So I'm probably going to end up answering a lot of questions at the same time, or multiple times, just maybe in different ways. What's a creator other than Oda that you wanted for so long but it never worked out? Well, I've never actually personally asked him, but apparently Moist Critical said he would do the show. He said he would be on Gielinor Games, which I always thought was like, oh my god, that's like a massive name to have on. But I guess there's no harm in asking him. But he is a big RuneScape guy, and he actually said on stream that he would do it. So maybe I should ask him and tell him and ask him if he would like to do it, because that would be like an insane name to have on. That being said, I still would like to personally keep the people who are a part of the show as much RuneScape as much like I would like most people to be RuneScape content creators. If I have too many like non-RuneScape content creators on, then maybe it'll take away from the charm. But yeah, that's somebody who'd be pretty cool to have on, definitely. I'm seeing a couple names in the chat about who, if I've ever invited them, and I'll just say this now. I've invited a lot of people to Gielinor Games who said no and who weren't able to be on the show. They just said they didn't want to do it or they couldn't do it. So I'm not going to name them just because I don't know if they want to be named. They can say on their end if they were one of those people. I'm just not going to say it myself. I'm just simply saying it in Otoblock's case because I get asked that question so much. But there's a lot of people who are asked to be on who just aren't able to be on and who just didn't want to be on, and that's totally fine. I can't it's totally okay if people aren't able to make it or can't be on. That's totally fine. But yeah, I will let those people. You can ask those people if they were invited. I'm not going to I guess expose or leak them here. VV Bald in the chat. I can't use Soup Bald here. Feels bad. The editing process seems unsustainably time consuming. Are you going to hire help? Oh, dude, the editing process for this past season definitely affected me. I was editing for 12 to 14 hours a day for 5 months, maybe a couple days break. But it was too much for me to do on my own. But I'm somebody who's incredibly stubborn when it comes to getting help because I'm scared that people aren't going to I don't know, they aren't going to be able to see my vision for what I have in mind. But in terms of in terms of getting help, it's something I definitely need to do. So for the next season, I've told myself and I've told people who I'm close to, don't let me do everything on my own. Okay, I've gotten a little bit better at getting help as the seasons have gone on. I really would like to have a couple people helping with the editing this time around. So I'll most likely be asking people in the community, people who are part of the RuneScape scene, if anybody's interested in helping out. And if anybody, like the biggest thing I need for somebody in terms of editing help is somebody who knows RuneScape, obviously, and somebody who watches a show like Survivor or who watches a show like The Challenge, right? And somebody who has watched all the Gielinor Games episodes, right? Outsourcing work is scary, but it's probably worth it in a lot of time, in most cases, just to help me save time. And a lot of the times, somebody can give you new ideas and new perspectives, which is something I'm always looking for. So yeah, how many people do you have on your team in total? So I did all of the editing this season, and the other person who helped out was a girl called Allie. She would be the person who wrote down every single confessional answer for me. And I also had Hootie and 8sat helped with graphics and animations. My entire B-roll Discord, all those guys in there helped with B-roll. And that's pretty much it. It was about a team of 2 to 3. Is that why you paid the engineer $10K an episode? Yeah, exactly. Any chance you can incorporate ChatGPT into in any way for the challenges? Maybe. Always a possibility with all the AI ChatGPT stuff. You are too lazy to be a YouTuber. Man, why dyslexic? Why are you going in on me, bro? What did I do to deserve that? Did you expect GG to blow up and take over your channel like it has? Not necessarily. Of course, I hoped it would when Gielinor Games first came out, but I didn't expect it to get as big as it is now. And to be honest with you guys, it's kind of a relief to be known for something other than my bad quest guides. Shout out to everybody who's been watching my videos since 2013. Shout out to anybody who knew me as the quest guide guy way back in the day. I'm happy that I'm more now known as a Gielinor Games guy as opposed to the bad quest guides guy, right? So it's been a welcome blow up of on the channel, I would say. What's your favorite soup? I really like hot and sour soup. I think hot and sour soup is delicious. Have you ever wanted to be in the show yourself? Oh, absolutely not. I think guest hosting is way more fun. Or I think hosting is way more fun. I would be terrible at most of the challenges, to be honest with you guys. Dude, it's so stressful doing the challenges. So just being the guy who can tell people what they have to do, and then being the guy who's like hyping up the suspense on who's getting eliminated and what the banning is going to be, and just playing that guy is way more fun than doing the challenges itself. I saw somebody compare like the hosting thing to being like a dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons, like a DM. It's like I would way more prefer to be the DM as opposed to the guy playing and like being a part of the crew or the group or the party or whatever, something like that. So yeah, hosting is way more fun. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. How much money did you make across all the Gielinor Games episodes? I'm not going to give the exact amount. I'm just not comfortable doing that. But it was enough for me to keep it as a full-time job and then also pay people on the show and pay creators and pay for production costs and all of that. So, yeah. All the quest items. Yeah, my bad. Have you considered larger amounts of contestants but double eliminations for the first few episodes? Ah, man, I'll tell you what. Editing 20 separate perspectives is already a huge amount. Like it's think about it, guys. You sit down to edit episode 1 and you have to go through 20 perspectives and you have to put them into your timeline in a chronological, unique order that keeps people interested and watching, right? So now, like, that's already a lot of people to keep track of. So what I've asked a lot of times is, do you guys think 20 players is a good amount of people to have on the show? A lot of the times people tell me, yeah, 20 people is the perfect amount. Some people tell me it's too much. Some people tell me it's too little. Imagine I had 26. Imagine I had 30 people on the show. That's a lot of people to keep track of for the viewers, and a lot of people just a part of the show itself, who are in the show itself. It's a lot of people. If I were to have 26 to 30 people on, a lot of people wouldn't even get screen time, right? So it's exciting. It's an exciting idea to add more people. Is it a good idea? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And could you guys imagine trying to schedule 26 to 30 people to be online at the same time who are all in different time zones and hope that they all make the filming time and nobody forgets and nobody has outages and outside issues? There's so many things that are out of my control for trying to get that many people on to be on at the same time. It's just a little bit too scary for me. A little bit too scary. How is Jeff in the dungeon under the trapdoor? I hope he hasn't been lonely. Oh, he's been deleted from my house, False Boo. He has been deleted from my house. He's gone. But he's not, like, dead. He's just in somebody else's house now. So. I could do a purge in the first round. But, like, imagine I eliminate 6 people in the first episode. And imagine, like, 3 of those people are, like, Bodhi, Settled, and I don't even know. Solo mission. Like, imagine those 3 people got eliminated episode 1. That would be like the worst case scenario for the show if those guys get out in the first episode. So a purge is scary because you never know who's going to do well and you never know who's going to do poorly. So yeah, it is scary. Hey Woodrow, love GG. Editing is fantastic. It reminds me of top quality reality and game shows from traditional networks. Do you have any background in this field or have you considered pitching to one? The only background I have in the field is watching Survivor and watching The Challenge on MTV and watching some other reality shows and just basing Gielinor games off of that. I've never worked in the field. I've never worked in Hollywood. I've never worked in network television. I've learned everything through YouTube. So yeah, everything through YouTube is and watching shows, of course. I think it might be an untapped potential though in the YouTube scene. Maybe reality competition shows in different games. I think could be really cool. I mean, I think it could work in a lot of games. Counter-Strike, League of Legends. It might not be as unique as, Minecraft. It could be amazing for Minecraft. Minecraft could probably do it better with the amount of stuff they can do in that game. So maybe it's something people are going to do in other games. Who knows? No, I haven't announced GG Season 4. Before we start anything when it comes to GG Season 4, I need to talk with Jagex about... I really would like to get a private world for the next season. I don't know if it's something that they're able to provide, but what I need to do next time around before Season 4 films is plan out my time better and hopefully get everything done that I need to get done before the season starts that I want to get done. That was explained really poorly, but yeah, I need to plan out the season a bit better before I rush right into it, which is what I did last time. Hey Pat, how's it going? Do you pick the amount of episodes you want in a season and just dwindle the numbers of contestants to meet a goal in mind? Yeah, so I actually saw this question earlier and I missed it. When the season started, I knew 6 people would be in the final. I knew that from episode 1. A lot of people were like, oh, Solo Mission, got eliminated. He decided to end the season because Solo is out. No, my original goal was to have 6 people in the final because I knew the format of the final was going to be a mixture of solo and duo challenges, and I wanted there to be like 8 or 9 or 7 or 8 challenges in the final. So 6 was already the number I had in mind. The reason there were so many double eliminations in the last like 5 episodes was because, well, one complaint I got from the first few seasons is they didn't like that their favorite competitors were getting out so quickly. So how do you keep people around for longer? You only do single eliminations in the first half of the season to keep more people around for longer, and then in the second half of the season, you do more double eliminations. Unfortunately, some people were in the crossfire of those double eliminations, and that's just how it was. That's probably why the season felt like it ended so abruptly. Could there have been maybe 1 or 2 extra episodes? Yeah, I could have, but that's just how the season worked out. And, you know, every season is a learning process. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm constantly learning what people like, what people don't like, and I learned a lot from the last season. So, yeah. Why do some of the contestants use different avatars than the ones they use on their channels? I don't know. Every time we start the season, I said, hey guys, find a look that you want to use for the entire season and then send it to me. And they send it to me, and that's their look for the season. There are reasons behind it, I'm not totally sure. I have, actually. Unsurpassable Z's Stardew Valley, he actually sent me a message before he uploaded it and said that it was Gielinor Games inspired. It was a really cool one, really cool one. I liked what he did with it. Ever thought of doing a podcast-style show with some of the contestants from Gielinor Games? Yeah, I would love to do more talks with people who were on the show to get their perspectives and talk more about their time on the show. That's definitely something I'd love to consider for next time around. What length of the video do you try to make each episode? You know, it's kind of been funny seeing the lengths of the episodes as the seasons have gone on. Season 1 had an average length of 35 minutes. Season's 2 average length was 45 minutes. Season 3's average length was like 58 minutes. Just because there's so much stuff going on. There's so many things I have to show. That being said, I've actually wondered to myself if the episode lengths are maybe too long. I have some people have told me that the episode lengths have actually put them off from watching the episodes. Like an hour and 7 minutes, I think, was the longest one. People see that length and they're like, "Oh my god, that's so long. I shouldn't watch that." That being said, I actually think the longer episodes are better. I think between 50 to 60 minutes, honestly, is like the perfect amount, the perfect length, because I don't want it to be too short. I also don't want it to be too long. So I think 50 to 60 minutes, honestly, is maybe the sweet spot with how long I should make everything. It looks like you guys agree that the 1 hour length is probably the best. I think the length is the best. Hi, Odin. So no, I'll just say this now. We have not started filming season 4. I'm still in the very early production works of the 4th season. I have the format figured out. I have already invited a couple of the contestants to be on. I can leak this now. Do you guys want one leak? I'll give you guys a leak right now because you guys are all here. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel right now if you aren't already. Like the video. Bodhi has accepted the invite for season 4. Bodhi will be returning. I don't think that's a surprise, though, whatsoever. I don't think that's a surprise whatsoever. He said, don't leak, no. I like the episode length, but I wouldn't want it to be much longer. Yeah, agreed. I think, like I said, 50 to 60 minutes is no more surprises. Okay, yeah, no more surprises after this. No more surprises. What's a question that no one has really asked, but you really want to answer? Oh my god. It's an amazing question. I have no idea. That's such a great question. I haven't been asked that yet. It's a question that I've always wanted to answer about the show. What is a question I've always wanted to answer? Oh my god. I have no idea. Wow. That's it. I'll think about that one. That's a great question. Because I think I've honestly answered like every single thing possible, but there's probably 1 or 2 things that I haven't thought about that I definitely would like to answer. I'll keep thinking about it. Could you do all of the eliminations solo based? Yeah, that's one complaint slash comment I got a lot was you should make all of the double eliminations at least be solo, like the Rogues Den one, where everybody's own fate is in their own hands. People weren't a huge fan of the double eliminations, where they have to rely on the person who they were teamed with. Totally fine. That's a very, you know, um, I guess good criticism. It's something that I wasn't sure if people were going to like, if it's something people weren't going to like. So it's I can here's the thing. I can never create a perfect format with a perfect season, right? Or a perfect format with perfect challenges and perfect bannings. There's always going to be something somebody doesn't like, right? So the goal is to create something that hopefully people are going to like, but it's not necessarily something that everybody's going to like, right? So there's probably things that you guys enjoyed that people didn't like, and there's probably things that you didn't like that people enjoyed, right? So I can't create a perfect season, unfortunately. But I think we can hopefully all agree that as the seasons have gone on, most of the things have improved about the show, including the format and the challenges and the bannings. Do you have a favorite contestant that you cheer for behind the scenes despite putting in unbiased contest? To be honest with you, no. I'll be completely honest here. The one thing I root for is entertaining things happening during the banning and during the challenges, right? So every time I see something crazy happen or something exciting happen, then I am very, very happy. Hey, Waydot's in the chat. What's up, brother? Lies. Oh man. Okay, you know what? I'll be honest. I have one favorite that I rooted for. I had one favorite. Um, I am a massive Skill Specs fan, and I think he brings so much to the show. So anytime Skill Specs gets eliminated, I'm very sad. I get very sad because I think he's almost become like, I don't know. I think a lot of people like Skill Specs. So when he got eliminated, there were so many sad comments, and I was like, oh, actually, I'm like so sad that he's gone. But he left in like the most entertaining way possible with the Darox banning versus Torvesta. So it like worked out, I guess. But I do love Skill Specs. I'm always sad when he gets out. So Rich Living, I actually answered this recently, but I'll answer it again. The one reason I don't do the whole last place in the challenge goes into the banning is because what if somebody's power goes out in the middle of the challenges? And what if somebody's power goes out in the middle of the challenge? Or what if somebody's lagging really hard? Or what if somebody, I don't know, has an outside factor that affects their gameplay? Sending them into the banning seems a bit unfair. And that's what scares me about the whole last place goes into elimination. Because we're technically, if you think about it, not everybody is on an even playing field. If we're all filming a challenge and on an American world, people in the UK, people in Europe, I should put it that way, people in Australia and in New Zealand, they're going to be on an uneven fit playing field simply because the ping is higher, right? So you can have the best internet possible, but it's not necessarily going to help you in terms of your in-game, lag and ping. And let's be honest, guys, RuneScape servers are already poor to begin with. The fact that the game runs on that slow tick system too just doesn't help either. But that's the one reason why I don't do the whole last place goes into elimination. Does it excite you watching the contestants figure out your puzzles or challenges? Dude, you guys want to know what blows my mind is how quickly people on the show figure out everything. Just the riddles, the hide and seek locations always blow my mind. Every single hide and seek location from this past season, people were there pretty much within the first picture. I think only the Draenor Manor picture from the hide and seek episode on the top floor, that was the only one that took people 2 pictures. But they are so good at the game. They are nerds. They're absolute nerds. Guys, in the final, when I asked like 30 trivia questions and not a single person got one wrong, what? Like, I did not expect that to happen at all, right? Did not expect it to happen at all. They need to touch grass. They need to go outside. They definitely know their stuff. Were there any character tropes adopted by the contestants that you were surprised by? Evie escaped the vengeance, Solo the snake, Ditterbitter the heel. I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I was just happy that people were playing characters. People were playing up things that actually happen in a competitive reality-based show. Um, People doing that makes the show so much more entertaining. And I think you guys have reacted well to that. It's something that a lot of people enjoy watching when people are creating characters and fabricating a lot of moments, in a sense, if we want to put it that way. I'm on world 374 if you would like to chill and stand next to me at the Grand Exchange. How do you think you would do? How do you think you would fare in Gielinor games if you were to participate? Not that you ever would. I do terrible, bro. I would do terribly. I would do so poorly, man. Maybe in a couple of challenges I would do well. I would pull off, a couple of upsets here and there. But I think I just put somebody on my ignore list who wasn't supposed to be there. I think it was this guy. Sorry, bro. So yeah, I would do terribly. That's why I think hosting is way more fun. Way more fun. Did you like how the banning of the season 3 went? Did you want bannings to be more coin flip, or were you okay with one person / team having a slight advantage of a large base to win in the day's challenge? Yeah, it's tough because RuneScape is such an RNG heavy game that coming up with only challenges that involve no RNG and are purely skill based is so difficult. It's really hard, right? So I can only limit it so much. At the end of the day, the banning that people liked the most was an incredibly RNG heavy banning, right? The skill specs Torvesta DH banning that's an incredibly RNG heavy banning. Yes, there is a little bit of skill involved, but it's still it's very RNG heavy. A lot of it is luck based, but that still ended up being people's favorite banning from the season, right? So it's, I think RNG will always play a factor. And I think it should always play a factor personally. It is what it is if the person gets eliminated. But I do try to limit RNG for the most part, especially for the bannings. Just in some cases, it isn't. Would you ever consider letting somebody else host a season? Or maybe having a co-host? No. I don't know if that's selfish for me to say, but I really enjoy hosting. And I don't know. I just like the hosting thing, so I'd like to do it myself personally. I'll just be honest there. Would you be interested in doing a settled escape room for Gielinor games? Escape rooms are something I'd love to try out. I think an escape room challenge would be really cool. They're difficult to set up, but I think it'd be really cool to do that. Absolutely. That's something I'd love to get to have a part of the season, and it's something that it seems like a lot of you guys want as well. Is an escape room challenge. Would you entertain a post show? So one idea that I had for the next season was to do a midweek episode, right? Between the actual main Gielinor Games episodes, I'll do like a review episode in the middle of the week where I invite, let's say, 4 people from the previous episode to explain more behind the scenes stuff, talk about what was going on, and kind of just have that midweek podcast-like episode for people who are interested in watching it. I don't know if I would do it on my main channel or if I would do it on a secondary channel, but that's something I've thought about doing to get more like Gielinor Games content out there, right? I dislike when a banning starts uneven, like in the money-making episode. I understand why people don't like that. To be honest with you, I personally like the money-making challenge affecting the banning because I really think it pushes people to do well during the challenge, right? If you hear that it's a money-making challenge and you're thinking, oh shit, excuse me for the language. If you're thinking, oh my God, the money that I make in this day's challenge could affect what I have to do in the banning, it really pushes them to do better during the challenge itself. So I actually kind of like it, but I understand why people might not like it, right? I can maybe understand why people would want it to be changed. I just finished watching season 3 of GG and this appears. Welcome, Brad. Welcome. I'm hoping for Oda Block and Stella in the next season. You know, I could just do a Gielinor Games Rivals season, right? I'll do a Gielinor Games Rival season where people are paired up with their mortal enemy, right? People are paired up with their mortal enemy. How do you guys like that? That would cause the drama for sure. Yeah, True Log. I could have somebody co-host those podcast things, right? Could co-host the podcast. That would be a good way to get somebody else involved for sure. Have you thought about a prop hunt banning? Ooh, I've thought about a prop hunt challenge. Haven't necessarily thought about a prop hunt banning. I actually have some really cool banning ideas for this season that I'd love to. Well, I can't wait to try out. Again, if you guys have any suggestions for bannings, for challenges, for anything on the season, please click my Discord link below. Join the Discord, give yourself the Gielinor Games role, and post in the Gielinor Games chat channel, text channel, your ideas. I'd love to go through them. That way I have them all in one place when I'm creating the season, and I can, I can have, yeah, they're just easy to look at and find. Why did you end the season so quickly? I understand why the season felt like it ended so suddenly. I answered the question a little bit earlier, Michael, but simply put, I wanted to keep people around for longer in the first half of the season, and I wanted to eliminate a lot more people in the second half of the season. Simply because one complaint I got from a previous season was people were getting eliminated too quickly. So this time around, how do we fix that? We do mostly single eliminations in the first half of the season, and we do double eliminations in the second half of the season. I always had planned to have 6 people in the final. That was always my plan since episode 1. So that's why maybe it felt like it ended so suddenly. Are there any challenges or bannings that have been suggested that you plan to use or have used? Yeah, actually, I would say 30% of the, I guess that makes it what? I think 6 to 7 challenges and bannings were actually suggested by community members, by you guys that made it into season 3. So, yeah, I take crowdsourcing these ideas, I take so much inspiration from your guys' ideas. So, yeah. No, I'm just drinking water out of a drink control cup. Have you ever thought about putting people in early teams similar to Survivor and having challenges that gives advantage instead of only eliminations? I have considered the whole Survivor format of creating teams early, but I'll be honest with you, I love eliminations. I think they make every episode so exciting. So having that many people, like let's say the first like 6 episodes had 20 people every single episode. I think that's almost a little bit too much. I think what makes GG unique and is the fact that people are going to get eliminated every episode. It is what it is. That's just part of the show. So I do like the whole choosing teams thing though. I just realized my webcam has been in the wrong spot for so long. I apologize. I do like the idea of choosing teams and creating a tribe, right? So that's something I definitely could incorporate for. I think that's something you guys would like actually is a lot more choosing team challenges where there's captains and they have to choose their challenges for that day, right? I think that's something that could be requested a lot more. Center screen Andy, yeah, that's who I am now. Would you consider some sort of challenge in Season 4 that somehow incorporates all 3 previous GG season winners as part of the challenge? Yeah, that's a cool idea. Absolutely would love it. Maybe one day down the line, let's say Gielinor Games is around forever. We can have an entire season with Gielinor Games winners and losers, right? We'll have people who have won the season and people who haven't. You know, that could be kind of cool. That's a cool idea too, Josh. Giving people who won a banning or giving people who won a challenge, extra unique perks or benefits for in the next episode for doing well. That could be kind of cool. Hi, Caroline. Thank you so much for answering my questions tonight. Your efforts, your content really makes my weeks better. Thank you so much for your time and effort. That's incredibly nice, Caroline. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for all your awesome questions. Listen, guys, I'll say this now. I've said this many times. The fact that you guys are here talking about it and are so interested in it makes my day. It inspires me. It motivates me to keep it going. So thank you to all of you for being so I don't know, motivating and inspiring and dedicated to the show. It truly makes my entire year seeing all these people here talking about it. So love hearts to all you guys. Thank you. What was the challenge the contestants liked the most? So the one I got the best feedback on was the episode 6 Underground Pass team versus team race. And actually that banning was the best feedback I got from the contestants as well, was the DH banning with Torvesta and skill specs. But I actually will tell you guys something kind of interesting from the poll. There's a survey in the description of the video of this stream as well, where you guys can give your feedback on the season. And one of the questions is, what do you prefer the most? Solo challenges, team challenges, or big team, or duo challenges, or big team versus big team challenges? And the one that got the least votes is big team versus big team challenges. Actually, it's the one people prefer to see the least. The one people like to see the most is solo challenges, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought people might like the big team versus big team the most, but it's actually the one people apparently don't want to see much. So I did find that interesting, because the contestants love the big team versus big team challenges, but the viewers seem to like the solo ones more. Me and my friends literally gathered in the living room with snacks just for Gielinor Games. Keep up the good content. That makes me so happy. Thank you for telling me that. That's honestly so cool. I love that. If the winner could choose the banning after voting, then that would also be cool. It would support alliances too. Maybe. Here's the tough thing about giving the person who wins that choice is then they know what a future banning could be, right? Think about it. Let's say there's 10 bannings in a season, and I would give them the option to choose between 2 to 3 bannings. That means I have to create 20 to 30 bannings for the season, because I don't want it ever to be a case of one person, like the winner gets to see what a future banning could be, and then they have time to prepare for it in case they go in, right? It's tricky. I never want to tell people what a potential challenge or banning could be before it actually happens, and give them too much time to prepare, right? Solo missions in the chat. The Golden Gnome winner himself. How's it going, Joel? Good to see you, man. We have talked about you a little bit. That's true. I guess viewership-wise, the viewers might want to see the solo unique perspectives more. That's true. Make a challenge where one person has a side challenge where they win immunity for 2 weeks if they make their team lose the challenge, but they get called for throwing there in the next 2 bannings. I've seen a lot of cool ideas for twists. Definitely, there's some really unique ideas. I have to be careful with how many twists that I put into the season. What is going on here? But I do promise you guys that twists will be a part of season 4. I can't believe what's already happened in season 4. It's actually been so good. Spoilers. What are your thoughts on a Jimmy only season where Jimmy is the only contestant and he wins and is awesome and cool? I love him so much. Jimmy is the best. Love Jimmy. I think people would unironically watch a season with 20 Jimmys all playing different characters. I think he'd be down to do that as well, for sure. Yeah, people love the idea of secret idols like they do in Survivor, but how would I do that in Gielinor Games? Like, how would I include secret idols? Like, I don't know. It's something that can be done. It's something I can try to play around. I have to figure out a way to do it for sure. Please excuse me while I eat this banana because I'm starving. So one thing I would like to include more for the next season is custom RuneLite plugin challenges. So if any of you guys create RuneLite plugins and have experience with it, please get in contact with me, because I mean, how cool would it be if I was able to create a custom anagram puzzle or a custom clue scroll or a custom puzzle box in game through a RuneLite plugin? Or what if, I see this all the time, what if I'm able to get a custom character in game that can be seen only through a RuneLite plugin, and you can talk to this guy and listen, and he gives you, like, I have a lot of things running through my head right now. Like, let's say there's a riddle step to find a person in game. You find this person in game, you talk to them, they then give you, unique text on how to find the next person, something like that. I think RuneLite plugins could change the game when it comes to GG challenges. Something like imagine like Mario Party mini games on RuneScape. Like I have this really random idea in my head, is what if there's a RuneLite plugin that lights certain tiles a different color, and the challenge is to run to this tile in a certain amount of time. If you're on the wrong color tile, you get out, right? Stuff like that. A trivia challenge where you have to run to a certain tile. If it's the wrong tile, you get eliminated. Stuff like that, right? I think that a lot of that can be done through RuneLite plugins, and it's hopefully something I can involve more in the 4th season, right? Yeah, something like red light, green light, right? That could be so cool. Yeah, RuneLite plugins have completely changed the game when it comes to RuneScape YouTube. They've created so much unique content and are so vital for a lot of things these days. I completely agree that it's going to be a big part of the future of the game. Yeah, true. Again, if Jagex could just give me a world and then just give me admin privileges in the world itself, that would be the absolute dream, 100%. What were your feelings about the winner of a banning having immunity and that partner in the next challenge getting free immunity via proxy? It was just something that I wasn't totally sure how to approach that, Pat, and I just included it. And it worked out, but I know it's something not necessarily everybody was a fan of. Again, me just kind of testing to see if people would like it, if people wouldn't like it. It is what it is. I kind of know now more if it's something I should do for the future or if it's something I shouldn't do, What's your internal process of selecting a cast? I mentioned this a bit earlier, but pretty much if somebody... If I just look for somebody who I think would provide good content, right? They can be a PVMer, they can be a PvPer, they can be a streamer, they can be a YouTuber. If there's somebody who I think would be good to have on the show and wouldn't be afraid to talk and wouldn't be afraid to stir up a little bit of craziness, and wouldn't be afraid to be animated in confessionals, that's somebody who I think would be really fun to have on. It's really just that simple. Somebody can be the best player in the game. Somebody can be the best PVMer, the best PvPer, but if they're not necessarily going to be good in a reality TV show, right? Maybe not the best fit. Maybe not the best fit. Hello, Bath. Hello. Have you ever run into PKers when out in the wilderness, or have scouts watching for you? We've had season 1 in the big team versus big team PvP challenges. We did run into PvPers a bunch. Luckily, the past few seasons, there hasn't been many issues with PKers, aside from in the Wilderness episode, where there was a couple of PKers that people had to deal with. Gielinor Game Season 3 was filmed. We filmed every single challenge from March to August, and then the post-production, so the editing and the B-roll and everything else, took from September to February. So it took about a year. There's lots of RuneScape YouTubers and streamers that I'm considering for the next season. But as you guys all can probably imagine, casting is one of the hardest parts, because there's going to be people who are going to come back and there's going to be people who don't come back. Every single season, I try to usually bring back half the people and bring in 8 to 10 new people, right? So I'm already stressing just thinking about casting and who's on and stuff. It's there's limited spots, unfortunately, so I always feel really bad. Tanzu, I get asked this question a bunch. Tanzu didn't actually hurt his toe. That was just a joke we did for the episode. He just wasn't able to make the filming times, and we were already on a really rough schedule for filming. I really needed to film, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the time, so we had Victim fill in. Are you burnt out after producing season 3? Yeah. Oh, I was so unbelievably burnt out. So unbelievable. Hey, thank you for the bond. I just instant accepted that. I didn't even think about it. Thank you for the bond. Very, very kind. Yeah, I was very burnt out. I had been getting very little sleep, editing and producing the show. So when it finally came out, I actually cried. I genuinely cried on the stream because I was just like, I'm so happy this is finally over. It was like, it's my favorite thing I've ever done in my entire life was making that show. But man, it was unbelievably difficult, and it was a really stressful time. So yeah, for the fourth season, I really need to just manage my time better. I need to get more people involved in helping out. And I think I'm gonna just I'm still gonna work hard. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be lazy. I'm not gonna not do it again. But I definitely need to manage my time better for sure. How punctual are the OSRS YouTubers when it comes to these challenges and filming? Do they make your life easier or harder? Oh, they make my life easier. This past season, I'm pretty sure every single person showed up on time every episode. Like maybe 5 to 10 minutes late occasionally. Actually, fun fact, the one person who sometimes would show up late was Skill Specs, and he would only show up like 5 to 10 minutes late, but then he would always go, Soup, can I make a cup of tea quick? Like every single time. I don't know why. It was really funny. But no, other than that, most people showed up on time and were punctual and made my life very easy. There's a lot of people who I could have on for season 4. A lot of people, for sure. It's going to be hard casting. I did all of the editing this season, Tanner. I edited every single episode myself. But like I said, next season I'd like to have more people involved with the editing process and get a bit more help. How much do you know about what goes on behind the scenes and through what you get in confessionals, like the forming of the inner circle? It's kind of it's a funny question, Jack. In the confessionals, I always ask everybody, like, tell me everything. Do not, I need to know this stuff for the editing, okay? Because sometimes people would they'd be like, yeah, there is a little something going on behind the scenes, but I'm not going to tell you guys just yet. I'm like, no, you have to tell me. Like, this is things I need to know for the episode. So I pretty much knew everything that was going on, aside from a lot of the DMs between competitors that I didn't see, right? Like, all the DMs you saw in those solo mission behind the scenes videos, I didn't see those myself. So I don't see everything, but I get told most things. I get told most things. No, I've never had like a problem with a problematic cast member. Everybody, to be honest with you guys, everybody likes each other in the community for the most part. We're all pretty good friends and we all support one another. So we have a really awesome community of content creators who really support and like each other. Some feedback that I think you touched on. I think once you get to the final X, you should really stick to solo challenges unless the season's already a team season like the duos. Maybe, I understand that maybe in the final, let's say there's only 10 people left. Should I only do solo challenges? I don't think so. To be honest, just my personal opinion, I think a show like this, a competitive reality show, should always if the point of the season is to mix and match solo, duo, big challenges, then maybe I'd prefer to have continue to do those mixed challenges, right? So I'm not totally sure. Oh, the final challenges, yeah. I don't 100% agree. I think for season 3, the format worked in the final because during the season, like the whole point of the season was you are by yourself, but there will be team challenges. And I think it made sense to do that in the final, especially through with 6 people in the duo challenges. I think it made sense to do it. If it's a completely solo challenge or a solo season, then I understand maybe, yeah, of course you should only do a solo, final. But that was kind of like my reasoning for doing it. IID, thank you for the bond. I'm just going to accept anything that comes my way. Thank you. What inspired you to make Gielinor games? I'm just a big fan of Survivor. I'm a big fan of... Sorry, I thought I have something on my nose. I'm a big fan of Survivor. I'm a huge fan of MTV's The Challenge. And I just thought when watching those, hey, that could work out in RuneScape. And here we are, guys, 3 seasons in and talking about a 4th season. So, yeah, really, really exciting. How big of a deal is vulgarity? So, actually, kind of fun fact. I don't mind when people curse because it lets me do the bleeps in game. And to be honest with you, bleeping curse words, I think, is really funny. I think it makes, I don't know why, but it just makes everything funnier. So the fact that people curse and I'm able to bleep actually adds to it makes it honestly seem more reality TV-esque, right? Which is what I'm looking for. So I really don't mind the cursing. Obviously, I don't want anything too vulgar, right? But yeah, the bleeping is actually funnier than using the curse words itself, which I've always enjoyed. The bleeping almost makes it more vulgar. That's fair. Yeah, fan crazy. I don't really disagree with you either. I just kind of giving my perspective, right? But yeah, no, I'm with you. Would you consider doing more qualifiers to accommodate a larger cast? Yeah, I've talked about this a little bit, but I don't necessarily want a larger cast because, I mean, that's already so many people. Like, I can't even imagine as a viewer seeing a show and then immediately being introduced to 28 characters, right? Like, or 30 characters. That's so much. I feel like 20 people on the show is already a lot. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds more, it definitely would be more exciting to have a lot more people on, but just from a logistics perspective, it's really difficult. And I can't even imagine trying to schedule that many people to be on at the same time. What I could do, I'll do an episode 0 again, for example, but instead of having 5 people on, maybe I have 10 people on and I don't know, 2 people make it out of that instead of 1, right? Something like that. That way we can get even more people in the show, even if only, I don't know, 8 people don't even make it to the first episode or something like that, right? Something along those lines. Hey, Unique, good to see you. Did you have a favorite person to win, or were you a true neutral throughout? No, I promise you, I've already answered this a little bit, but I promise you I was a true neutral. I was, of course, pretty sad when, for example, Skill Specs got out, because I thought Skill Specs was really funny up until that point. I thought he was absolutely hilarious. But let me get the questions back on stream. So I was sad when Skill Specs got out, but I promise you that I was a true neutral throughout. All I was rooting for was good content. Yeah, Sar, I will be doing that next time. Next time around, I'm going to be listing the GG donations and just showing like the top donors and stuff like that. Maybe you can up the prize pool a little bit, give people incentive to donate. Episode 0 was actually one of my favorites. I thought it was a really good episode. Yeah, I thought it was a cool group of people to have on. Exactly. Anybody who has tried scheduling people to be on for a WoW raid or for, I don't know, group games night or just trying to schedule that many people to be online at the same time and make sure nobody forgets it and hope that no outside factors affect them being there is difficult. Guys, it took us almost 2 months to film the first 2 episodes of Gielinor Games because we had to schedule 20 people to be on and then 19 people to be on at the same time. It took almost 2 months just to get 2 episodes done. That's how long it took, right? So it may sound easy to just be like, oh, let's get 28 people on, let's get 25 people on. Trust, the scheduling is brutal. I promise. Not everybody is on a different schedule, guys. Nobody is playing Gielinor games as their full-time job, right? So, and it's not like we're all in the same house or we're all in the same area. Everybody's in a different part of the world on their own schedule. So, it's really tricky to try to do that. That's why I'm very hesitant to try to schedule more than 20 people to be on at the same time. Sadly, thank you for the bond. 3. Look, we're stacking up the bonds, baby. Thank you very much. Do RuneScape players without a YouTube or Twitch platform also have a chance to get on? Of course. 8sat in this past season did not have a Twitch or YouTube platform, and he got on. He was kind of the dark horse for that reason. He was a wild card, we'll put it that way, on the season. Have you considered a mobile challenge? No, I have not considered a mobile challenge. That, like, I mean, it actually, that might be kind of cool. A mobile challenge might be kind of cool, but logistically, that'd be really tough to set up. Really tough to set up. What time of day did you usually film? Usually we filmed at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that would be like noon Pacific. That would be like 8 p.m. GMT for all my people in England. 9 p.m. for my Central Europe guys. But usually my New Zealand, my Aussies and my Kiwis would have to wake up between like 5 to 7 a.m. to film, which would be sometimes pretty brutal for them. Was Solo Mission the best cast member? Like the way he talked in the confessionals? Solo Mission's very good at confessionals. Usually what you want in a confessional is somebody who's able to be animated, but and explain a lot of things of what was going on, but in a concise time, right? So if anybody who's able to take, like, the best confessional is usually between 5 to 20 seconds, right? Anything longer than that takes a long time to try to cut through and edit. So that was always really well, because he was really good at doing that. He was very good at doing that. That being said, the longer answers are sometimes kind of nice because there's a lot of different answers in that one answer that I can then just split up and use in different points in the episode. But yeah. Hi, Kristen. The first mod to show up in my stream. My stream feels good. How long did it take to film one episode in hours? Episode 1 of this past season took, I think, 4 hours to film. About 4 hours, I would say. Mr. Hadded, thank you for the bond. The bond collection is up to 4. Feels good. Would it be better scheduling if you were to split up the early group into 2? I've thought about it, Rick, but to be honest with you, I think having people film the episode at different times really takes away from the collaboration you get between everybody being online at the same time. Like, for example, in episode 2, imagine Ditterbitter, I think he's in New Zealand. He would film at a different time than Solo Mission, who was in England. And they wouldn't have that crazy interaction between the two at the end of the episode, right? I think having everybody online in the same call to get all those different reactions is very important. Very important. Yes, thank you for the bond. Love you very much. Thank you. Up to 5 bonds. Feels good. This soup guy thinking he ain't just cereal. Cereal is not a soup. Soup is not a cereal. And I'm on call. It's an honor. Kristen, I had a dream you weren't on call, so you're not on call, okay? And that's final. Everybody say hi to Kristen for me in the chat. Hi, Kristen. Can you give a shout out to my boyfriend, Dest? He loves your OnlyFans. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out, Dest. Lemons, thank you very much for the bond. Up to 6. You're a beast. Are there any large periods of downtime when filming episodes to capture the confessionals? Yeah, so sometimes it would take a week and a half to film the confessionals with somebody. The best time to film a confessional for the episodes was ideally a day after we did them, or right after we did them, because it's fresh in everybody's mind. I can ask questions about what went on. You remember it very well. And yeah. For you guys who missed it, I showed this really early. I'll show it again. This is what a confessional page looks like for the show. So this is the episode 1 confessional Google document, the official one. You guys are seeing it here. 27 pages of confessional answers. 27 pages. I would film the confessional in Discord. I would send the audio to Ali, somebody who helped with the confessional editing, and she would write down every single answer that the person who I asked the question to answered. So, for example, let's look at Foe. Here we have Foe's answer right here. I asked him, "What were your thoughts on the challenge today?" He had a 29-second answer where he said he started to think about the starter gear and how to obtain it. He liked the challenge and he was sure that he would be good at it, right? What do we have for Solo Mission? Solo Mission had a 43-second answer on the thoughts of the cast and the format. You know, his only ally Chili wasn't there this season. Instead, he's got Tasty, Sinferna, Foe, who are really good at PVM. Feels like it's going to be a spicy competition, right? So I have all of these questions to go through when filming the episode, or when editing the episode, and I have to pick and choose where the answers should be put in to try to make it, you know, as seamless as possible. So yeah, that's the whole background with the confessionals. It takes a long time, but it helps me organize and figure everything out. Taryn, thank you for the kind words. Thank you very much. I'm happy you enjoyed the content, and welcome to the old school scene. Yeah, Hush Puppy, I personally would like to continue the confessional questions like myself, but I also would like to get more help with the editing and the sorting of everything, without a doubt. Can we have the first few episodes be safe episodes? It sucks when somebody gets knocked out and we don't have time to bond with them. Frost, I can understand why you... man, tough question. I've thought about this. I could do it where episode 1 there's no eliminations and it leaves you guys on a cliffhanger for the second episode where maybe there's 1 or 2 eliminations. But I'll be honest with you, I absolutely love eliminations. I think they're a vital part of the show. So I think having that elimination in episode 1 is part of the excitement. It's part of the thrill. It's part of what keeps people drawn in. Like somebody finishes the episode and they're like, damn, that guy got eliminated in the first episode. He had no time to save himself. He's gone, right? I think that adds to the tension, right? Like, it's episode 1. There's 20 people, and one of these 20 people is going to be gone at the end of the episode. We are never going to see them again, right? That's tension, that's drama, that's excitement. But I also understand the thing of, okay, let's maybe get 1 extra episode for everybody to connect with everybody who's on the show. So I see both sides, but I'll be honest, I kind of lean towards the side of first episode, somebody's going home, right? First episode, somebody's going home. Trying to fill out the survey and realizing that pretty much every challenge this season was a banger. I was so happy with the challenges and bannings this season. I think they worked out really well. The one challenge I didn't like necessarily and wasn't really happy with was the Uber Eats challenge, the Killer Appetite one, where they had to bring back meals for me. I think that one didn't really work out as I liked it to, but it is what it is. What if the losers of episode 1 got put into the episode 2 banning, have a huge banning in episode 2? Yeah, possibly. Good grief. Like, that's something that I had in mind. But I'm also in the mind of, I almost think an episode 1 elimination adds so much to the episode. Like I said earlier, like, holy, like, this guy is out in the first episode. He's gone. That's it. Completely out, right? So that it just kind of, adds to the tension, I guess. Are there any challenges that you think you would do really well in? I think I would do pretty well in the Underground Pass challenge. I know that place. I could run Underground Pass blind. I have been down there so many times for B-roll, for filming, for testing. I think I would do really well in that. The one I would probably do very poorly in is probably riddles. I think I'd be terrible at riddles, to be honest with you. Probably do terribly at riddles. HM, one one thing I would like to do is bring in a boss for one day for an episode. Like imagine I have a PVM challenge one day, and that day's boss is everybody who's on that in that day has to everybody who's there that day has to beat the boss's challenge. Or beat the boss's time in that challenge. And let's say Wooks comes out. Like imagine Wooks walks out for a PVM challenge. He does the challenge, and everybody on the show has to try to beat his time, right? I think that'd be a really cool idea. Like just getting Wooks on would automatically be hype in general. So that could be something that's very cool. I'm about to run the underground pass 6 times. Good luck. What are your thoughts on alliances being formed? I love alliances. I think they bring so much to the show. I think alliances should be played up in a show like GG because they're impossible to ban. It is impossible to ban alliances. So why not play them up? Why not make them a crucial part of the season? I think they're really good for the show. Wooks would win. Do you guys think Wooks would actually win a season of Gielinor games? Don't you guys think that Wooks would constantly be voted into a banning just because it's Wooks? He is a god. He is the GOAT of the game. But Gielinor games challenges are so tricky, right? Just because you're the best at one thing doesn't necessarily mean he's the best at other things. So I would like to see him on a season. I wonder if he would. I wonder if he would end up winning every single banning. Like, what if Wooks got put into a PvP banning against Solo Mission or against Torvesta or against Bodhi, right? I think he would. I think he would definitely struggle in something like that. But again, it's Wooks. Like, can you ever really say he wouldn't win, right? It would 100% be tricky. Have you ever thought about incentivizing people to change alliances during the game? Incentivizing alliance changing is something that I don't know if I can affect or if I can incentivize, maybe. But I'll tell you what though, guys. I think we're gonna see a bit of a different game in season 4 because I said this earlier. Bodhi and It's Will both played solo the entire season, and guess what? They made it to a final. Eviescape's entire alliance, aside from I think Foe, did not make it to the final, right? Frame's alliance fared the best. Framed and Settled both made it to a final. So it was Foe, Bodhi, yeah, Victim, who was kind of playing both sides for a little bit. He was in the center. He also was arguably a solo guy for a little bit. So I think a lot of people are going to look and be like, maybe I shouldn't be part of an alliance. Maybe I shouldn't work with anybody. Maybe I shouldn't do this. So I think we're going to see a bit of a different game in Season 4. Season 2 was the season where alliances maybe started to show a little bit. We're seeing a lot of people working with one another for the first time. Season 3, it really came out that a lot of people were working together and there's big alliances going on and everything. Season 4, maybe it tones down a bit. Who knows? It's going to be tricky. Going to be tricky. A tick perfect challenge in the future. Tick perfect could be fun, but remember, people who are part of the show live in different parts of the world. Would it be fair to me to have a tick perfect challenge when people are in different worlds, right? I'm not totally sure. Or are in different in different using different ping, for example. Could be tricky. Could be tricky. Yeah, Pat, the Killer Appetite one, the create a piece of food from scratch or a dish from scratch sounded better on paper, ended up being really tricky to film. A lot of rules weren't explained properly, and just a lot of outside factors played a role in it being confusing. Because I said that everything has to be from scratch, but there's a lot of things that you can buy from a shop, for example, and not make from scratch, and you can make it from scratch, and it was just all over the place. That one was probably the hardest one to figure out. The one that I wasn't sure if it would do well, but ended up doing really well. I think the Brimhaven Agility Arena one, I was really scared going into it because I thought I had miscalculated how much time it takes to get to the pillars to collect your ticket. Thankfully, banning was kind of saved by the fact that Sea Engineer and Foe tied on the first run of it, and then had a really intense second part of it where we were able to improve on the banning with D spears and snares, right? So yeah, that one ended up being a lot better than I thought it might be. Yeah, there's been a lot of people who have declined to be in GG. Yes, there has. There have been people who have declined to be on the show. But that's totally fine. Gratifizzle, how's it going? Thank you for becoming a channel member, by the way. Very kind of you. One day we'll get GG to happen and fly the contestants out to a house. No worries about ping and huge social aspect out of the show. Exactly. We'll have a huge budget and we'll get everybody in the same house. Could be exciting. Kefri tank test. I'll be honest with you guys. I know nothing about TOA. I know a little bit about it. I know you can customize it quite a bit. And I think it has potential for a Gielinor Games challenge for sure. So TOA is something I'll definitely look at. They can only use unusual money makers. That's a cool idea. Remember when Hanani and Sinferna used the unusual moneymaker of collecting sturgeon and then got eliminated? That was brutal. Hidden immunity idols. Yeah, that's something that was brought up. It's something I was thinking about doing. Something that I might consider for the future. We'll see. Not totally sure. There's potential. A Taskmaster challenge is something that's been requested a lot. I have looked into it. I think it definitely could work. I'd have to figure out what we would do for it, but I do like the idea a lot. True, Mitch. True. Is there any way you can spill the tea and share your decline? I'm not going to say who it was personally. They can say if they want on their end. I just don't know if they want me saying to them that they didn't want to do the show or they weren't able to be on. I'll let them say it if they like to. The only person I've said so far is Oda was invited to season 3, but wasn't able to make the filming times. So yeah, he wasn't able to be on. Since I get asked all the time about that. Soup, when do we get the final where you announce the final challenge is you and then you walk out in max gear? Dude, you're already spoiling season 4, bro. You're already spoiling season 4. The hide and seek one, yeah, that could be a good idea for the immunity idols for sure. What happened to the person who left after episode 1 and was replaced? Tanzu? Tanzu didn't necessarily go anywhere. He just wasn't able to be on the show, so he's still around. Hopefully we can get him involved in the future again. No, Tanzu didn't actually break his toe. No, he just wasn't able to make the filming times. Yeah, people can decline for multiple reasons. IRL responsibilities, personal issues, maybe not being interested in doing the show. It's tricky to make the filming times. Anybody who does Gielinor Games has to put aside probably, I don't even know, 35 hours or so over the course of 3-4 months to film. Those 35 hours are a lot of time. Something that they would maybe prefer to have for their own content. So anybody who's on the show already spends quite a bit of time with the filming, and a lot of them just do it, because they want to and are happy to do it, and I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, it just takes a lot of time. And we're all, everybody's from over the world. Everybody's from all over the world. So again, the filming times are just tricky sometimes. Have you ever had to scrap an episode or challenge after starting it? No, but we've had to pivot sometimes. Occasionally we've had to pivot after something crazy happens. I'll tell you guys one thing. I messed up on an episode where I was in the wrong world for a hide and seek episode. So I posted the picture and people found the location, but I was in the wrong world. So they were like, this isn't it. Like this definitely looks like it isn't it. So we had to scrap the round and redo it because I'm an idiot and I was in the wrong world. So that's been a case of us having to redo and pivot in the middle of filming something after messing up. So yeah, it actually happens an embarrassingly amount of times. I don't know. It's tricky. Hey Greg, any chance for a fan tandem challenge? It could be fun. What is a fan tandem challenge? Let me look that up really quick. Fan tandem. A fan tandem. Okay, you're gonna have to explain it to me. What is a fan tandem challenge? I just asked him, YouTube account. I asked him if he was able to fill, and he was able to fill. I just DM'd him, and he said he'd be willing to help. Yay, Jerry, good to hear, man. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I mean, filming mistakes are very common. Unfortunately, it's not possible to be... it's not possible. Well, it is possible, but it's tricky to have a very flawless filming session. Usually one or two things go wrong, and you have to kind of find a way to problem solve on the spot, which happens quite often. Oh, I see. No, I'll be honest with you. I probably won't ever do a fan tandem challenge, simply because, again, scheduling random fans to be on would be tricky, and I would need people with good audio setups. I would need people who understand what's going on. It's just there are way too many variables that could go wrong, unfortunately. Yeah, Hollowed Sepulchre is a good idea. Hollowed Sepulchre honestly is made for a Gielinor Games challenge. The one tricky thing is, I think if you go into a Hollowed Sepulchre, there's a chance you get put into a different room or a different location than other people, which would lead to different routes. Because I think some routes are actually quicker than others, so I'd have to find a way around that. How many accounts or different POVs do you use when filming? A lot. So, of course, let's say for episode 1, for example, there's 20 different perspectives that we have to film, or that are filmed and sent to me. Then I have probably 70 to 80 different B-roll shots that are used. And then we have the confessionals that we have to put in. We have the standing B-roll shots at the beginning and the end and the middle. And then we have the island and everything. So, yeah, hundreds for sure. Here's the thing, though, guys. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Let's say I have a challenge where the 10 people remaining are paired up with 10 random noobs, right? 10 random noobs. But what if one of the noobs is better at the game than another noob? What if the person knows slightly more than another person? Doesn't that make it automatically an unfair challenge because one person has more knowledge than the other? I feel like that's just it's impossible to make that challenge fair, because one random person might be better than the other, right? I just don't think it's possible to create a fair challenge where I invite random people to be on. I just don't think it's possible. What if they picked their noobs? Well, doesn't that pick their noobs from the own community? Just pick the noobs from a lineup of noobs that I provide? I like how we're calling them noobs. What do you mean, pick their noobs? They pick their noobs off the street. Guys, that is just impossible to do. That is impossible. It is not possible to try to find random people in the game and ask them to be on the show, and then hope that they have good audio setup, and then get them in a Discord call, and then get them all to be on at the same time. I'm getting a headache just thinking about that, bro. I'm getting a headache. I will leave that. I'll leave that for a one-off video. I just don't think it would ever work in a Gielinor Games challenge. I'll leave the noobs for other content creators for them to be a part of the videos. It would not work for me, guys. It would not work for me. The logistics, it sounds fun. It sounds cool, but the logistics of that, they make my head hurt. They make my head hurt for sure. Yeah, that has to be a whole separate show for sure. Have you talked about Guns Chili coming back for Season 4? I missed the hell. I love Tom. Tom is a Gielinor Games champion from Season 1. The casting process, I haven't started it yet, but I will be narrowing down the names here over the next few weeks for sure. I like Torvesta and Skillspecs' challenge videos. Are more of those coming? Actually, fun fact for all of you. I have a really cool new series idea coming. For all of you who are craving Gielinor Games content, I have a new series coming that's kind of going to be like almost Gielinor Games in a single video. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you guys have ever watched a guy called Nade King, but what he does is he invites 10 content creators to be on a video, and they have to compete in like 8 challenges. Usually the challenges take between 5 to 10 to 15 minutes to film. And the last place person in that challenge is just automatically eliminated. Like they're just gone. There's no voting. They're just out, right? So one video would just be, I have 10 people on, and then we do like 8 to 9 challenges, and just the last place person gets eliminated at the end of every challenge. And it's just a simple one-off video that kind of is like GG, but there's no voting, probably no confessionals, but it kind of fills that collaboration competition gap between Gielinor Games challenges. So that's kind of an idea that I had in mind that that might be coming your guys' way soon. I want to see Mod Ash in GG. Oh God. Rowan, thank you for the £2. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Each player gets a specific person they have to kill, and then they inherit whoever that person was supposed to kill, and so on. That's a unique idea. That's very cool. That's very, very cool. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of suggestions for challenges. I'll say this again. Please click the link in the description of this stream or video. Subscribe while you're down there if you haven't already. And join my Discord, discord.gg/suprs. Join the Discord. Go to the Choose Roles channel and select the Gielinor Games role. And then in the Gielinor Games text channel, please post any suggestions or feedback or ideas you have for a future season. That way I can have everything in the same spot, and I can see everything that you guys bring up, and hopefully I won't forget it. We are past the 2-hour mark. I'd actually planned to stop after 2 hours, but I'm going to be finishing up here in a little bit, guys. So I'm going to kind of go through the final round of questions. I'm seeing a lot of just suggestions for the future one at this point. If you guys missed the first part of the stream, it's going to be uploaded as a VOD right after I finish, so feel free to watch it again if you'd like to. And yeah, thank you guys all again for the fantastic questions. We need more quest guides. Can you make more? Absolutely not. The RuneLite Quest Helper plugin is in the game now. That's all you need. Gielinor Games, but you have to participate. I will not be participating in Gielinor Games. When do you think you're going to hit 300,000 subscribers? I don't know. Hopefully by the summer. 300,000 is insane. Absolutely insane number. Absolutely crazy. For you guys who are going to bed, good night. Thank you for watching. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you again. Just want to say thank you also doing this amidst losing your mom. That got me a little bit emotional, and it was beautiful. Thank you, Taryn. Yeah, my mom passed December 2021. So that's why the season took a lot longer to come together than I wanted it to. I took just a couple months just away to figure out that whole situation. And, you know, the whole season, of course, was dedicated to her. So shout out to my mom. She was a huge fan of the show and of my channel and supported me so much. In 2021, I actually won the Golden Gnome for the best video maker because of Gielinor Games and because of you guys voting for me. And actually, the week before she passed is when I won. And I have this this message from her, just saying how proud she was of me and like how like excited she was for me. And it was like just like the last amazing message that I got from her before what happened. So I just have this, you know, this memory of that message and her, you know, saying that to me. So the fact that, you know, I have that just means a lot. And, you know, the fact that it's about Gielinor Games and about, you know, RuneScape and all that, like, it's just the best thing ever. So, yeah, it was such a great great one, final message and stuff. So yeah, this past season was of course dedicated all to her. If you guys didn't see, at the end of every single Gielinor Games episode, there's a picture of her and I. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, feel free to look at the end of the episodes. It was yeah, very wholesome. So yeah. I think that's a good note to end on, guys. But thank you all for tuning in to the GG3 Q&A. This has motivated me very much to now continue with the 4th season. I have lots of plans in the chat for what I'd like to do. Plans in the chat, plans in my head. Sorry, I just can't even think anymore. And I'm really excited to get this your guys' way as soon as possible. I will just give you, I will say this now, unless things go very well, the 4th season probably won't be out until 2024, so next year. I'd like to get it out sooner. Like if I were able to get it out in December of this year, that'd be awesome. But again, things have to go really smoothly over the next 6 months for that to happen. So I'm not going to say that there's not a chance it doesn't happen this year, but we'll see. Just know, guys, that I want to make it better. I want it to be, high quality. I'm not going to rush it out. I think the last thing you guys want me to do is rush it out. I think you all would prefer I take my time and make it as good as possible. So I promise that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys all very soon. For the final time, join the Discord down below in the description. Please feel free to fill out the survey as well. And I'll talk to you guys all again very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. Take care.